From the Detroit Free Press, it's Wednesday, October 28th. Here are today's top stories, presented by Bush's Fresh Food Market. Bush's has over 4,000 Michigan products, including the freshest fruit and vegetables, meat, seafood, and baked goods. Stop by one of Bush's 16 locations for the personal service you expect from your neighborhood grocer.
This is Todd Spangler, Washington correspondent for the Detroit Free Press. President Trump was back in Michigan on Tuesday afternoon, holding a rally at Capitol Airport in Lansing. It was the third time the president has been in the state in the last 7 weeks. Again, he made several wildly exaggerated comments about the auto industry and the state of Governor Whitmer's COVID restrictions. At one point, he compared the state to a prison, even though most restrictions were relaxed months ago. Trump's visit shows just how hard he is fighting to win Michigan in next Tuesday's election. He won a narrow victory over Hillary Clinton in the state 4 years ago, and is trailing Democratic nominee Joe Biden in most state polls this year. But in Lansing, Trump pressed his case that electing Biden could result in higher taxes and an economic slowdown. At one point, he noted that the temperature was in the 30s and it was raining, but that he was just trying to keep up with the tough people of Michigan. Biden, by the way, is expected back in the state on Saturday. And don't be surprised if we see another visit from Trump, who ended his successful 2016 campaign with an early Election Day stop in Grand Rapids.
I'm John Wisely, reporting for the Detroit Free Press. Ever heard of dark money in politics? That's the money that funds ads urging you to call your representative and tell him to vote for this or vote for that. It's usually done at a state or federal level. It's called dark because you can't see who's paying for it. The groups don't have to identify their donors. So there's no disclaimer at the end where the candidate says his name and something along the lines of, "and I approved this message." This kind of dark money advertising is finding its way down to the local level in Michigan, including in the race for school board in Grosse Pointe. Some Grosse Pointers are angry that the district closed 2 elementary schools last year. They're funding a PAC which has taken out ads in the race. Critics of the group say it's shadowy because their real objection to school closings is race. One of the schools that closed was mostly black. Now those kids attend schools that in previous years had student populations that were less diverse. The woman who founded the PAC, Monica Palmer, insists it's only about what's best for kids. She won't say who's funding it, and the law doesn't require her to.
I'm Teresa Baldus with the Detroit Free Press. A convicted killer in a high-profile murder case is making life hell again for the victim's mother. 10 years ago, Linda DeMaio's daughter, Diana, was beaten to death and left to die in her boyfriend's luxury apartment in downtown Detroit. The suspect was Peter Dabish, the son of a millionaire businessman who co-founded the powerhouse gym chain. Dabish got life without parole. He lost all appeals. However, this year he has convinced a Wayne County judge to hear what he claims is new evidence, that Diana died because she was not intubated properly at the scene, not from repeated blows to the head. Dabish will argue this point with the help of the pathologist hired by Jeffrey Epstein's family in his jailhouse suicide case. All of this has left Diana's mother reeling, and the prosecution is crying foul, as the intubation argument was already raised at trial, but the jury didn't buy it. For more on this story, report to freep.com.
I'm Kirkland Crawford with the Free Press Sports Department and an update from Michigan State football. On Tuesday, Mel Tucker addressed the media as his Spartans get ready for their rivalry game against Michigan on Saturday at the Big House. Aside from the general coach speak, the most interesting nugget from the news conference was what Tucker called U of M. When referring to the Maize and Blue, Tucker, who was on a couple of MSU staffs in the 90s, called them the school down the road. That school is favored to beat his team by more than 3 touchdowns. But as we've seen in this rivalry before, point spreads rarely have it right. Being a big underdog isn't worrying quarterback Rocky Lombardi.
Yeah, I mean, 24 points seems to be a little bit of a stretch for me, but I don't even really look at that stuff, honestly. You know, for us, it's all about, Coach Johnson harps on it a lot, just process the play. So if we can take it one play at a time and we can execute each play the way that we're supposed to, we'll go out there and we'll have a productive day and hopefully we'll win the game. So really, it doesn't really matter what the odds are. It matters, can we execute every play to the best of our abilities, and can we keep moving the ball forward?
For more stories from the Detroit Free Press, be sure to check out freep.com. That's FREEP.com. If you're a fan and want to support our quality local journalism, subscribe. Go to freep.com/special offer.